Meantime, we are getting reports this afternoon of an active shooter and a fire at a church in Grand Blanc, Michigan. That's about an hour outside of Detroit. Let's go to Brian Yennis. He has the very latest for us. Brian, what can you tell us?
Kevin, good afternoon. A developing story indeed. We can tell you right now that the Grand Blanc police say that fire that you're seeing on your screen was started by a suspected active shooter. Sources telling Fox 2 Detroit that active shooter is now down. So this is the situation we have. We also know, according to that reporting from our local affiliate in Detroit, that there are 6 to 8 victims. Their condition currently unknown at this hour. An active shooter shooting the Church of Latter-day Saints, the Mormon church in Grand Blanc Township. This is about 60 minutes northwest of Detroit, about 10 miles south of Flint, Michigan. We have seen some folks, victims being taken out by stretcher. There has been a full-blown response to this church. We don't know how this fire was started, but sources tell our Fox 2 Detroit that fire was started by the suspected shooter. This all started shortly after 11 a.m. local time. We expect a press conference at about 12:45, 1 o'clock Eastern with the latest from the police. But this is, unfortunately, this was a church that they had people there worshiping inside. This church is open 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. today. When this shooter opened fire sometime after 11 a.m., striking from reportedly 6 to 8 people in that church. Their condition unknown. You can see the shot here. This is, we don't control this camera, but this is a local affiliate there. You can see the fire trucks working there. There are police officers there. Like I said, that smoke from the church is billowing a lot less than it was even just 15, 20 minutes ago. So you can understand the situation here, Kevin, where they are working on putting out a fire at the same time that they are looking for victims of an active shooter. Just a horrific situation, a complicated situation there for our first responders in Grand Blanc, Michigan right now at the Church of Latter-day Saints. So we should expect an update within the next.
Welcome in, everybody. Thanks so much for joining me here at Courageous Media. Really appreciate everybody rolling up. It is another sad day here as we have more what appears to be leftist terrorism, certainly domestic terrorism, certainly anti-Christian terrorism here in America. We've got a church now, albeit it is a Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. I'm not going to split hairs today on the theological differences between Mormons and Christians, because I doubt that the person who drove his vehicle through the wall into the church and then opened fire, killing at least one person, injuring at least 9 others, and then set fire to the building. I doubt the theological nuances of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints and regular historic Christianity are all that apparent. So with that being said, just so everybody knows that I understand the theological differences, but this is yet again an attack on Christians in America. This is ridiculous. This is a church shooting. Again, they're there, they're worshiping, they're engaged in nothing that would hurt anybody else. And yet here's some lunatic, some deranged, ridiculous lunatic finds it necessary to drive their vehicle into a place where people are massed, open fire, and then set the place on fire. This is ridiculous. Now, we're probably going to find out that there are a lot more victims when they actually start clearing the scene, when they actually start doing recovery efforts. Unfortunately, we will probably find that there are more victims. Our hearts go out to the families of these people. Our prayers are with everybody involved. Thankfully, there were some first responders, there were some officers, whether they were on site for security or whether they were close by, that were able to neutralize the shooter. We're going to get into that video. This is absolutely atrocious. Nobody, regardless of your religious affiliation, should be gunned down or set on fire during a worship service for any reason. That is, again, political violence. We are here because of the ridiculous rhetoric of the leftist, anti-Christian, anti-Semites in our country. We're going to get into that. But I want to dive in. First, let's check out this video from, I believe he is the he's either the county sheriff or he's the police chief for the township in Michigan where this happened. We're going to check in with him because he's got some more facts that we didn't get from that Fox report, but really appreciate everybody rolling up. Midway Farms in the house, Bear Lake guy, Janie Cavender, really appreciate everybody being here. God help us. Exactly. Thank you so much. Let's check this out.
During this incident, what we know right now is that a 40-year-old suspect from Burton, he's a male, he drove his vehicle through the front doors of the church. He then exited his vehicle, firing several rounds at individuals within the church. 10 gunshot victims have been transported to local hospitals at this time, including one who has been deceased. Officers who were trained immediately responded to the area. One was a DNR officer, and then one was a Grand Blanc Township officer, where they met the suspect and they engaged in gunfire with that particular individual, neutralizing that suspect, and that suspect is no longer with us. As I said, it is a 40-year-old male from Burton. During this incident, what we know right now.
So we know from that the suspect is deceased. He has been neutralized by first responders, by our brave police officers there in Michigan who responded to the scene. Thank God. So this situation is over from an active shooter perspective, but now the postmortem will be undertaken. And we need to be able to find out why this person did this. Is this another example of left-wing, anti-Christian, anti-Republican or conservative terrorism? Is it? Is this somebody who had a beef with the LDS Church? And just to be theologically clear, I do not count Mormons as Christians because they believe in a very different Jesus Christ. But if this person was not attacking the LDS Church because maybe he had a bad experience here or something, if he is a leftist terrorist, then I doubt that this person understands the theological differences between historic Christianity and Mormonism. He probably saw the sign on the door, Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. In his mind, this was probably anti-Christian terrorism. I don't know. We're going to have to wait until we find out who the shooter is. And that will all come out, I imagine, in the next hours and days. Let me know what you think in the comments. Does anybody have any additional information on who the shooter is? I have searched and searched. They have not released the name. They've not released anything about him. There were some pictures floating around online, which I put no credence in at this point in time. Now, there was an eyewitness who posted on X, and so we're going to check in with that. Then we're going to check in because President Trump has already responded. The FBI is already engaged. They're already on site. We actually have an FBI and a DOJ that work for the American people. Thank God. We've exited the days of the Biden regime and Merrick Garland, who's completely incompetent and weaponized the DOJ against everybody, not a leftist globalist Democrat. But here we go. Let's check out the eyewitness.
I'm at the scene of a giant fire happening at a church in Grand Blanc, Michigan. I talked to someone who just got here from South America. It's his first week in the U.S., went to church with his mom. His mom is still in the building and he got out. From what I'm hearing on the ground, a man drove his vehicle into the church and then started shooting and even shot a little girl in the back, and she is at the hospital right now. The shooter has been neutralized, but that's all I know at the moment. Everyone within a 30-minute radius has responded to the scene. I'm at the
Shot a little girl in the back. No little girl deserves that. This is absolutely atrocious. This is demonic. This is horrible. This is tragic. But make no mistake, I believe this is the cumulative result of all of the anti-Christian, anti-Republican, anti-MAGA rhetoric that is floating around in the Democrat Party. We're going to get into that. Now, again, I will caveat this. It may very well be that this person had a beef with the LDS church or with this particular church in particular. It might be that he experienced abuse or something else there. That is quite possible. Until we know who the shooter is, we cannot rule that out. However, if this is a case where they were targeted because the name Christian was on the door, then I think we all know where this comes from. Donald Trump has already weighed in initially on this. He posted this on Truth Social. Oops. Hold on one sec. Let me pull this up. So here's Trump's statement. I've been briefed on the horrendous shooting that took place in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Grand Blanc, Michigan. The FBI was immediately on scene and will be leading the federal investigation, providing full support to state and local officials. The suspect is dead, but there is still a lot to learn. Absolutely. This appears to be yet another targeted attack on Christians in the United States of America. The Trump administration will keep the public posted, as we always do. In the meantime, pray for the victims and their families. The epidemic of violence in our country must end immediately. He is 100% correct. Now, again, this may be a person who targeted this specific congregation because he experienced something from this congregation. This might be personal in that respect. If that is not the case, then I think we are probably looking, that is my gut feel, that we are looking at another example of somebody targeting people because they thought they were Christians, because they had Christian on the door, because they were religious, because they were MAGA, because they were Republican, whatever the case may be. This looks like it might be the continuation of the leftist terrorism that is growing rampant in this country. At the same time, we've got leftist terrorists raising anarchy in Portland, to the point that the Trump administration has to call out the federal troops to go protect ICE and federal buildings, which we will get into in another video, either today or tomorrow morning. So check that out. We've got this going on. Now, I just want to remind you, this. I want to pull up this montage. It's a little bit long. We may not listen to the whole thing. But for anybody who has any doubt as to why there are targeted attacks against Christians, targeted attacks against conservative, targeted attacks against MAGA, against Republicans, just check this video out. And as we pull that up, let me just give a shout out to all of you in the comments. Really appreciate everybody rolling up. We've got Lynn Sanger. Thanks so much for being here. 3 Kanos in the house. I saw a report out of Detroit, SWAT and armored vehicles are at the shooter's home. They're deploying a bomb robot. They did find bombs in a car, I believe, parked in the parking lot or parked at the shooter's home. But they did find makeshift, incendiary devices. God has said lies turn to hate and hate turns to murder. That is absolutely right. That's why he says in the Sermon on the Mount, hey, you have heard it said, you shall not murder. But Jesus says, I tell you, if you harbor hate in your heart for your brother, you've already committed murder in your heart. It starts with that. 3 Condos, we have to be careful not to prematurely say it was left-wing lunatic or the left will use that to diminish all other attacks. Absolutely. I'm not saying it was. I'm saying there's probably 2 primary options or 2 primary ways that this will go. This was either something personal, somebody who went to that church or who was snubbed by that church or who was abused at that church. That may absolutely be it. Or the other most likely, there's two likely scenarios. That's one. The other one would be it is a targeted terrorist attack against conservatives and Christians. And they don't necessarily know that, that regular Christians do not consider Mormons to be Christians because of their beliefs on Jesus Christ, on who he is, even though they use the same name. But that would most likely escape anybody who was a leftist who was just trying to commit mass murder. Absolutely. This is yet another sad situation. 100%, Janie. All right, let's check this out. For anybody who has any doubt why there is a rising tide of violence, this what's going on in Portland, Charlie Kirk, all of the recent ICE attacks, Dallas, Texas twice, where an ICE agent was shot in the neck. The recent Dallas one, where a lunatic shot actual illegal immigrants because he missed all the ICE agents, but wanted to cause ICE agents terror. If there's any doubt why these things are happening, all we have to do is look at the Democrats themselves, who have been fueling this over the last 8 years. Check this out.
I just don't even know why there aren't uprisings all over the country, and maybe there will be.
People need to start taking to the streets. This is a dictator.
You know, there needs to be unrest in the streets for as long as there's unrest in our lives.
Enemies of the state.
Show me where it says that protests are supposed to be polite and peaceful.
Do something about your dad's immigration practices, you feckless.
When they go low, we kick them.
How do you resist the temptation to run up and wring her neck?
The biggest terror threat in this country is white men, most of them radicalized to the right.
I thought he should have punched him in the face. I said, even if you lost, he insulted your wife.
Yes.
He came down the escalator and called Mexicans rapists and murderers. He said, well, what do you think I should have done? I said, I think you should have punched him in the face and then gotten out of the race. You would have been a hero.
I'd like to punch him in the face. I said if we were in high school, I'd take him behind the gym and beat the hell out of him. Punch some people in the face!
When was the last time an actor assassinated a president?
They're still going to have to go out and put a bullet in Donald Trump, and that's a fact.
Look as his character is stabbed to death.
Where is John Wilkes Booth when you need him?
I have thought an awful lot about blowing up the White House.
A Missouri state senator is under investigation by the Secret Service after saying she hopes President Trump is assassinated.
I will go and take Trump out.
And if you see anybody from that cabinet in a restaurant, in a department store, at a gasoline station, you get out and you create a crowd. And you push back on them. And you tell them they're not welcome anymore, anywhere.
And sadly, the domestic enemies to our voting system and our honoring our Constitution are right at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue.
They're not going to stop before Election Day in November, and they're not going to stop after Election Day. And that should be, everyone should take note of that on both levels, that this isn't, they're not going to let up, and they should not.
If you think we're rallying now, you ain't seen nothing yet.
So, for anybody who has any doubt as to why there is escalating violence in the United States, they need to look no farther than the globalist cabal of corruptocrats who call themselves the Democrat Party. The ragged montage, the ragged montage of communists, globalists, anti-American nutcases. I won't use the F word just because we've been talking about so much about that word, but these people want to destroy America. That's what they want to do. And this is the rhetoric that they've been pushing for 8 years now. And it is now coming to fruition. So it is time for us to stand up, not and oppose them with violence. No political violence. Let the state, let the Trump administration, let ICE, let the FBI, let the National Guard handle that. We need to get out and engage other people, just like Charlie Kirk did. Engage them in debate and film it. Let the world see how empty and vacant and facile these people are. They do not have a sound mind. They do not have sound arguments. They cannot argue with facts and logic and debate. Hence, they turn to violence because their arguments are paper tigers. They are nothing. They are full of assertions. They are full of statements without fact. They are full of illogic. They're not even logically consistent, most of them. Get out and debate with people who disagree with you and put it on the internet and let everybody see just how whacked these people are. And we will destroy them without ever firing a shot. Let me know what you think in the comments. Colin McCann, we don't know if it's a terrorist or an irritated member. That's exactly right. We've discussed both options. Brenda Left makes me ill. Sadly, Democrat politicians have been inciting violence 100%. Hey, let me know what you think in the comments. Please smash that like button if you haven't already. Subscribe, turn on the notifications. If you like the content, please share Courageous Media with everybody that you know. And if you're willing, hit that join button. Join us as a member of the Courageous Army on YouTube. Really appreciate you rolling up. Have a great afternoon. Remember, God is good and he is sovereign. It'll all be good in the end.